Warning. Some viewers may find the following footage deeply disturbing.
According to Jewish legend, on the sixth day, man and woman were created. While many religions that descended from Judaism recognize this woman to be Eve in modern day, there are several sources in rabbinic texts that suggest the first woman created for Adam was actually Lilith. Her fate and destiny did not, however, align with the divine. Darkness has long been the enemy of man because of the strange and dangerous creatures that are known to lurk in its shadows. One of the most dangerous adversaries to man, however, is also thought to be the most beautiful woman ever created, Lilith. According to Judaism, this spectacular woman was made to be a mate to Adam, but due to their incompatibility, it became necessary for Jehovah or God to create another helpmate for Adam, who was named Eve. But who is Lilith? And why did her great thirst for power cause her downfall and destruction? According to many rabbinic texts, the source of much Jewish mythology, Lilith is known to be the first woman to ever be created. There are several different perspectives of who Lilith is and why she was so dangerous, but all of them involve her hatred towards Adam, Eve, and their descendants. She is believed to have started out as a human woman. Just like the devil, she was destined for a much darker path. Lilith and Adam. Depending on the source, Lilith is usually portrayed as being a dangerous seductress or a killer of infants. At times, she is also said to be an evil demoness or a practitioner of witchcraft who was known to cast vile spells onto men and women who worshipped God and consume the blood of the living, or at least her progeny does. In some tales, from her bloodline, the vampire emerged and took their origin directly from her. Lilith wasn't originally created to be such a vile being, however. In fact, legend tells us that she was originally made to be Adam's mate and helper. Lilith was the most beautiful woman to have ever been created. She was known to have been perfect in every manner of appearance. Adam was immediately captivated by the beauty of his partner and was thankful to God for bringing her into existence. This sense of contentment didn't last long, however. Almost as soon as Lilith emerged into the world, she began quarreling with Adam. This led to her joining the devil. There are rabbinic texts that suggest that Lilith was not the only woman made from dust, as Adam was. It is suggested that Jehovah or God tried once again to make a woman from dust as he had with Adam, and that her name was Naamah. From Adam's union with Lilith and Naamah, it is suggested that all demons were created. Some of the more terrible demons listed are Tubal and Asmodeus. It is known that countless of Lilith and Naamah's demon offspring seek to inflict pain and suffering on the descendants of Adam and Eve to this day because of their mother's hatred towards the couple. The texts that record this part of the story suggest that Naamah is not as powerful as Lilith, but is always present with the first woman and partakes in the same evil acts. Because of Lilith's connection to the fall of man and her general dislike and disrespect towards Adam, Lilith has come to be associated with a number of misfortunes and sufferings that are directed towards humans and children. Lilith was not only dangerous because of her wrath towards children and newborns, but also for the threat she posed towards all men. It has been suggested that Lilith was also known to try to attack grown men in their sleep because of her deep hatred and resentment towards their progenitor, Adam. These myths portray Lilith, and sometimes Naamah, as going into the night to search for male victims to murder either as a vampire or demoness. It was thought that they would only attack men who slept alone, making single men and solo travelers a primary target. According to legend, Lilith would go to the beds of men who slept alone and cause them to sin in their dreams by touching them and causing them to think terrible things and commit despicable acts. It appears that forcing men to be led astray by sexual dreams, however, was the least of the threats posed by Lilith and Naamah towards grown men. It was thought that Lilith and Naamah also had a tendency to suck the blood of the men they preyed on and were sometimes known to even eat the flesh of their victims. It is thought that this part of the Lilith legend went on to inspire the Lamii, who were known for the same type of cannibalization. The Lamii went on to help inspire early vampire and werewolf legends, which indirectly makes Lilith the mother of all vampires. Rabbinic texts did not take this part of Lilith's legend lightly. They strongly urged men to be on guard against such attacks and advised them to avoid sleeping alone to protect themselves. In legend, Lilith is often depicted as a striking and seductive figure, combining elements of beauty and menace. She is described with long, flowing hair, sometimes fiery red or jet black, cascading down her back, symbolizing her wild and untamed nature. Her eyes are often portrayed as piercing and hypnotic, capable of seeing into the souls of men. She is usually shown with a lithe and alluring body, yet there are also more sinister aspects to her appearance, such as wings like those of a demon or bat, and sometimes talon-like fingers, hinting at her dangerous and supernatural origins. Let's dive into a detailed look at some of Lilith's powers and abilities as they are depicted in various myths and legends. For more on this, feel free to watch my vampire documentary on this channel for more on this subject. Now, let's go over some of her powers and abilities. Immortality. Lilith is often described as being immortal. This trait allows her to exist through the ages, untethered by the natural life cycle that binds human beings. This immortality is a cornerstone of her power, making her a perpetual figure in the narratives that span various cultures and epics. Flight. One of Lilith's most iconic abilities is flight. After uttering the ineffable name of God, she gained the ability to rise into the air and escape from Eden. This power symbolizes her escape from subjugation and her transformation into a more autonomous entity. Shape-shifting. Lilith is frequently attributed with the ability to change her form. This shape-shifting typically involves taking on the appearance of a beautiful woman to seduce or deceive humans, but can also extend to transforming into various animals or mythical creatures, aiding her in her interactions and influence over the mortal world. Night terrors and dream manipulation. One of her more eerie abilities is to manipulate dreams and induce night terrors. Lilith is said to be able to enter the dreams of sleeping individuals, particularly men, influencing their subconscious either to seduce them or instill fear. Command over demons. As a figure often considered the mother of demons, particularly the Lilith, Lilith is said to have authority over these demonic entities. This power allows her to summon and control lesser demons, employing them to carry out her will or protect her interests. Cursing. Lilith is reputed to have the ability to curse individuals, particularly newborns and their mothers. These curses can manifest as sudden illnesses, unexplained deaths, or even influencing the fates of individuals she targets. Protection charms and amulets. Ironically, despite her role in threatening the lives of infants, Lilith is also believed to have the power to offer protection. She reportedly agreed to spare any infant who wore an amulet inscribed with the names of the 3 angels sent to retrieve her, demonstrating her ability to both curse and protect. Life and death manipulation. Tied closely to her domain over infants, Lilith has the power to manipulate life and death to a certain degree. This is particularly emphasized in legends that discuss her deciding which infants survive and which do not, based on specific protections like amulets or sacred inscriptions. Seduction and persuasion. While perhaps not a supernatural power in the traditional sense, Lilith's ability to seduce and persuade is often highlighted in myths. She uses her charisma and allure to influence and manipulate humans, drawing them into her sphere of influence or leading them astray. All powers known to be at the disposal of vampires, as she serves as the fabled mother and master of all blood drinkers. Lilith's lore is rich with eerie and haunting tales across various cultures. Here are 3 well-known and chilling stories that contribute significantly to the dark and horror-based reputation surrounding Lilith. Lilith and the Sumerian Gilgamesh Appendix. In one of the oldest known references to a figure similar to Lilith, The Sumerian Gilgamesh appendix depicts a terrifying creature dwelling in the sacred Hulupu tree planted in Inanna's garden. This creature, identified in some translations as Lilith, is described as a dark, demon-like figure who made her home in the trunk of the tree, embodying the spirit of desolation and loneliness. In the myth, Gilgamesh, the hero, knows of Inanna's distress about this evil presence in her garden and decides to confront it. Armed with an axe, Gilgamesh approaches the tree and strikes at its trunk. Upon doing so, Lilith, feeling her sanctuary under attack, lets out a blood-curdling scream and flies away into the wilderness. This flight is said to mark her transformation from an element of the wind to a demoness associated with the night, embodying malevolent spirits and horrors that prey on the weak and innocent. The alphabet of Ben Sira, Lilith as Adam's first wife. One of the most detailed and foundational stories of Lilith comes from the alphabet of Ben Sira, a medieval Jewish text. According to this legend, Lilith was created from the same earth as Adam, explicitly to be his equal. However, when it came time for them to unite, Lilith refused to lie beneath Adam during sexual relations, arguing that they were created equals and she should not have to submit to him. When Adam tried to force her into submission, Lilith spoke the unspeakable name of God and flew away from Eden. After her departure, Adam complained to God about his loneliness, and God sent 3 angels to retrieve Lilith. The angels found her at the Red Sea, where she had coupled with demonic beings and given birth to hundreds of demon children each day. The angels ordered her to return to Adam or face death, but Lilith refused, invoking her divine-given freedom. She cursed the angels and vowed that she would take the lives of newborn children, boys until their 8th day of life, the day of their circumcision, and girls until their 20th day. However, she also made a pact that she would spare any child who had an amulet with the names of those 3 angels written on it. Lilith in the Dead Sea Scrolls. The Songs of the Sage. The Dead Sea Scrolls, particularly the Songs of the Sage, reference a figure similar to Lilith known as the Mother of all Demons. In these texts, this demonic figure is portrayed as a night specter who preys upon the souls of the unwary. The scrolls describe incantations used by Jewish exorcists to protect against her and her minions. The texts detail how this demoness, along with her hordes, would enter the rooms of the ill or the sleeping, particularly targeting pregnant women and young children. The incantations are vivid and chilling, invoking God's protection and commanding Lilith and her demons to flee into the desert places where no sound of human joy can be heard. The haunting descriptions of these incantations provide a glimpse into the ancient fear surrounding Lilith and her association with death and the nightmares that invade human life. Lilith continues to be a subject of fascination in theological and scholarly circles. Researchers and scholars dissect her origins from ancient texts to better understand her evolution from a Sumerian demon to a Jewish mythological figure. Her role in these texts often sparks discussions about the interpretation of mythological and religious figures within their historical context. For those who practice modern witchcraft and paganism, Lilith is sometimes honored as a goddess of independence, sexual freedom, and the night. The psychoanalytic community finds Lilith intriguing as well. She's considered a representation of the dark feminine archetype, an aspect of the psyche that embodies chaos, sexuality, and the rejected. This ties back to how she was traditionally seen as a threat to newborns and mothers, symbolizing the untamed and dangerous forces of nature. So there you have it. Lilith may have originated from ancient myths, but her story is as alive today as ever. From a feared demoness to a celebrated icon of independence, Lilith's transformation over millennia highlights how legends adapt over time, resonating with each new generation's values and struggles. Whether you see her as a villain, a hero, or something in between, there's no denying that Lilith's legend continues to influence and inspire. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more deep dives into mythology and history. Let us know in the comments what mythological figure you'd like us to explore next. Until then, keep exploring the mysteries of the past.